Thank you, Aziza. You know, in addition to celebrating MAJIC today, I think it's important to notice that the heights that NewGround has reached under Aziza and Salih's leadership has been extraordinary. Just this past week, there were articles in the Huffington Post, the LA Times, and the Jewish Journal about the extraordinary work that's happening in this organization. So thank you, Aziza, for your leadership. I have the honor of introducing to you the only person, aside from myself, that has a key to my home in Los Angeles. My friend Amir Abdullah is an alum of the 2012 Temple Emmanuel King Fahd NewGround Fellowship, a unique configuration where we brought a mosque and a synagogue together to partner their communities. In addition to his commitment to NewGround, where he's been a public presence for us, having emceed our storytelling events, being present at countless alumni projects, Amir is also a very talented artist. He graduated from Penn State with a master's in fine arts, and with that basis, he has performed across the world as an actor. And most recently, last year, he wrote and starred in a play called Pray to Ball, which, very complicated story. It gave a lot of insight into the complications of American and Muslim and Black identity, and all of those intersections, recognizing that we are complicated people. We are not just one thing. And how do we wrestle with all of those identities? An extraordinary show that just brought this world to so many people who never otherwise would have experienced it. So I am extraordinarily excited to welcome my friend, somebody that I deeply admire, and somebody who I will continue to watch in the future with excitement to see what you do in the world, Amir Abdullah.
All right. Thank you, Sarah. Appreciate that. I'm looking for that guy right now. All right. Good afternoon, everybody. Y'all can speak back. Right. So, I was contacted by Aziza and Sarah to speak at this graduation, and I thought it was a huge honor. And then I just felt kind of old, man. I remember sitting in these seats. You know, I remember that. I was full of hope and certainty of life. I remember what was important to me back in those days. Yeah, I mean, going to college is obviously the priority right now, but so was counting how many friends I had on MySpace. Or like if you had checked out my latest LiveJournal post or Zanga. See, they're like, what is going on? They don't know about that. Y'all in your 20s and 30s, y'all know about that. You know, you guys who have Instagram and Snapchat and Twitter and Vine and Senpai, right? Senpai, okay, somebody knows. And that's cool. This is your time for that, all right? And you deserve to be young and enjoy it. But you gotta know that the future and the decisions that you make today are gonna affect you tomorrow and for years to come. A graduation is not only an ending, but it's also a beginning. You know, I think it's kind of pure chance or fate, or maybe it was meant to be that I'm like standing up in front of you today. The only reason I'm here is because of a piece of paper, like a flyer. That's it. I went to King Fahd Mosque for Juma one week. Don't usually go there. In LA terms, it's far from me. It would take you 2 hours to go 3 miles. But I just happened to go one day. So prayer's over, I'm walking out, people passing out flyers for kebabs and all type of stuff like that. You know, you usually ignore it and keep going. Somebody calls out, interfaith workshop. For some reason, it piques my interest. I think it was, it kind of called me back to home where I grew up, Jacksonville, Florida. And when I was your age, I did a interfaith sexual orientation, race, and just different sexes, everybody came together. I did a program similar to this that was also sponsored by the NCCJ back in the day, called Metrotown, when I was in high school. And so I kind of had those seeds or those roots planted for me at a young age. So naturally this kind of called to me in finding, the hopes of finding a common ground to build these relationships on, which sounds kind of familiar to what we're doing here. So I already had some interest. I went ahead and took the flyer, signed up, and attended the workshop sessions. Now, as you know, in NewGround, as well as in MAJIC, they try to get all up in your business, right? Okay, they do. They try to get you to share secrets and things that you're uncertain of and scared of. They tried to do that today. You see, y'all know. So one of my uncertainties was about this play, Pray to Ball, that I had written. It chronicles a superstar college basketball player in Miami struggling with coping with death and being a Muslim American, in Miami. Stuff that I could personally, relate to. I did my undergrad down in Miami, and these were things that I was struggling with. So it was a very personal piece, to me. I finished writing it, but I didn't know if anybody was going to be interested in that. It's a different subject, not something you usually see. Plus, it was considered controversial material, and I also had some friends that were, kind of discouraging. I shared this in a session, and I received a ridiculous amount of support from the Muslim and Jewish side. And they pushed me to put it up at the Hollywood French Festival just as a workshop. And it was amazing, man. Everybody showed up, the whole place was packed out, people were having discussions afterwards. I mean, it was just a beautiful thing for me just to be a part of it and share my world with, with other people. In turn, that allowed me to have producers come, and they invested in this was the first production I'd ever written. It was produced with rave reviews in Los Angeles at the award-winning Skylight Theater, attended by an entire Sunday church service. At-risk youth were able to come for free. Even people with a lot of negative views of Islam were affected and changed by the show. And it all started from one little flyer. So I want you all to do me a favor, okay? Especially graduates. I want you to take stock of today. Okay, look around at each other right now. Take a look, look. You see? Think about the recognition that you've gotten in the state of California. Think about the volunteering, the service projects, the icebreakers, the trips to the houses of worship that you've been to. You guys are making history. Or maybe you're breaking history. Muslims and Jews have a long history together of having reached the highest of highs and also the lowest of lows. You have the tools to change the world. Too many people can't be in this position that you're in. Too many people don't have what you do. This is an opportunity. All right, you have one life, if you believe that. You have one chance, one shot. I have to ask myself constantly, if I pass away tomorrow, will I have lived each day out like it's my last? That's Big Sean, the philosopher. Y'all might know, she knows. For the adults, y'all can look that up later. Got some good stuff. But speaking of rappers, it kind of makes me think of 8 Mile. Somebody was laughing, and it made me think of that too. 8 Mile, it's a really good movie. And some of y'all kind of young to be seeing that, but when you turn 17, 18, y'all make sure y'all check it out. Don't listen to me, parents. This moment reminds me of how Eminem's character, B Rabbit, is pacing these weak arms are heavy, he's vomiting on a sweater. Y'all know it, right? He's preparing for this rap battle that could ultimately change the situation of him and those people around him, and lift those people up and take them to new heights that they never thought they could. You're kind of sitting here at that position right now, okay? This is it. All right, you've been to the practice, you've been through spring training, you've ridden with the training wheels on long enough, and whatever other cliche that you want to use, you've done it. Each one of you is up to bat, okay? And when you inevitably hear that that off remark about a Jewish person or a Muslim person, what are you going to do? When someone condemns an entire race or religion of people as less than savory, what are you going to do? You'll miss the sessions, you'll miss the meetings, the years will go by, and your memories will fade at this time. But something inside of you will have changed. But whether you act on that impulse or not is entirely up to you. It could be from a boss, a significant other, family member. It's difficult. These are difficult people to confront. And ultimately, the choice is going to be up to you, and you're going to have to live with that result. But trust me, it feels a whole lot better when you speak up. I know that for myself, when I haven't spoken up in the past, it would eat away at me. I'm really skinny. There's not much left of me to eat. You know what I'm saying? I want to tell you graduates that you're exceptional. And it's not because of where you're from or how rich you are. You're exceptional because of the experiences that you've had and the power that comes from having these experiences. 62% of Americans say that they have never met a Muslim. It's an astonishing figure. Islamophobic attacks are on the rise, and anti-Semitic attacks are still the highest form of religious hate crimes reported in the United States. There's a lot of work for us to do around the world, and fortunately, the solutions start with you. It starts within you returning to your own communities and fighting for the humanity of one another. It all starts with you. It's up to you to change these statistics. Now, you aren't totally alone. Okay, there are people out there that will help you along the way, but sadly those people are few and far between. But you're really lucky to have several of those people in this room right now. They're out there working on the front lines, working for a better future, and empowering you to shape your communities. It's not easy out there. I know some of you are saying, but Amir, I'm just a kid, you asking a lot out of me. And some of you are what, 16, 17? Some of you still going through puberty. I've been there. I get it. The world looks at you as if you don't know anything. I mean, it's rough. I'm 28. The world still be looking at me like that. But I digress. I know I'm asking a lot out of you. But I wouldn't, and Sarah wouldn't, and Aziza wouldn't, if we didn't think it was possible for you and other young people to be able to take what you've learned back to your respective communities and inspire change. You know what the best thing about being young is? I mean, besides the fact that you can eat Fruity Pebbles in public. Best thing about being young is that there are moments that you feel like you can do anything. As you get older, people tend to see that as a bad thing. They're like, oh, you're not being realistic. But right now, where you are, it's a great place to be. Enjoy it. So, in closing, being that this is magic and all, I want to leave you with the words of the master magician, David Blaine. We are all capable of infinitely more than we believe. So let's get out there and explore what we're capable of. Congratulations, graduates. Thank you very much.